Welcome back to Only Talk Sports. And today we have the Big Ten Championship game live reaction between the Penn State Nittany Lions and the Purdue Boilermakers. It's been a fantastic last game of the championship week. It's going to be March Madness coming around the corner. Penn State and Purdue, it's going to be wrapping things up. But even today, there's already been some great games. Alabama beat Texas A&M by a decent amount. They pretty much beat Texas A&M pretty soundly. And then overall, you just look at some of the other results. Princeton beat Yale in the Ivy League tournament. That was a big win for Princeton. Yale's a really good team, but Yale's the number one seed. But they'll be in the NIT, so that's a good consolation prize for Yale. Princeton's a really good team, and they just found a way to beat Yale, even though Yale beat Princeton earlier, this season. But there's been a lot of big games. There's already been a lot of big games this season, and I just think that this game should be a really good game as well. Should be a lot of high-flying action. It's about to be kicking off on CBS. You've got Penn State is the 10th seed, one of the lowest seeds ever to be in the Big Ten championship game. Penn State, this is their only second appearance in the Big Ten championship game. I mean, they're a program that hasn't made the NCAA tournament since 2011, and that was the season they went to the Big Ten championship game. And they're really good this year. They're lights out from three. But Purdue, you've got Zach Edey, and Zach Edey, he is a monster down low. So this should be a high-flying game. Really good game between both these teams, and hopefully it's as great of a game as we had last night between Arizona and UCLA. That was a fantastic game as well. The tip just happened, and Purdue, obviously with Zach Edey getting the tip, they get the ball first. It's 0-0. Game just started. Braden Smith's a fantastic freshman for Purdue. He had the ball at the top of the key. Now they got the Zach Edey down low, and he misses early, and the ball's off Purdue. I would say that's a really good stop from Penn State, but Zach Edey just missed. He usually knocks that shot down, but it's early. Penn State inbounding the ball. Penn State beat Indiana in the semifinals, and it would have been a matchup between Purdue and Indiana again in the championship game if the Hoosiers had gotten the win. But Indiana fell short 77-73 to the Nittany Lions. Penn State, they shot a lot of threes against Indiana, and they were able to make a lot, and they hit a lot of free throws as well. They're going to have to do the same against Purdue if they want to get the win. Penn State for 2. It's 2-0. That was a really good shot by Jalen Pickett. He's a great player. Jalen Pickett is one of the toughest players to defend in college basketball because he's able to back you down, and he's a really good shooter as well. Zach Edey with the ball at the top of the key, hands it off to Braden Smith. They use those ball screens really well. Braden Smith fakes a three. Brandon Newman fakes a three, and he takes a short two, and he misses. Penn State rebound. Still 2-0 Nittany Lions. Penn State with a tough two, and they make it 4-0 Penn State. What a really good start for the Nittany Lions. Purdue trying to settle it down. Braden Smith bringing the ball up the floor. And Mason Gillis misses a three for Purdue, but they called a foul. And Zach Edey down low. They called the foul on Zach Edey's play. It wasn't on the three-point shot, so no free throws for Penn State. Thanks for being here, Jeff. Should be a great game. Howdy. It should be a great game for sure. Purdue is struggling a little bit early, though. Zach Edey down low, and he knocks it down. 4-2. Penn State with the lead, but Zach Edey, that was a really good shot for him. Thanks for being here, Jackson. He says Penn State has been impressed this year. I wonder if Coach Shrewsbury will stay at Penn State or if he goes to Notre Dame or Georgetown. I mean, he's done a really good job at Penn State, but I would probably go to Notre Dame if I'm going anywhere. Penn State misses a three, but they are lethal from three-point range. Georgetown is an historic program. They've been really struggling, the last decade or so. So I'd probably go to Notre Dame, but he could go to Georgetown. Back dates back. Thank you, man. Let's go. You back. Yes, this is a big game. Hopefully it's as great of a game as we had last night. That was a fantastic game. Man, Zach Edey, he leveled that guy. They did call an offensive foul on him, though. That was tough. Penn State with the ball. Penn State moving the ball around the top of the key. Andrew Funk is a great three-point shooter for Penn State, and Penn State misses another three. They're going to have to hit those shots if they want to get this win. Fact Ace says Bama smoked A&M for sure. That game was not close, especially in the second half. Brandon Newman for Purdue with a long two. It's 4-4. What a big shot. Now it's a tie game. 16:40 to go in the first half. Penn State bringing the ball up the floor. Andrew Funk for three. He misses. Penn State is cold early from the outside. They're not hitting their threes. Braden Smith, the really good freshman for Purdue, driving in 6. He almost had it. Should have been 6-4, but he missed the layup. Purdue is probably getting some free throws unless it's called on the floor with Zach Edey again. And he had that layup. He just overdid it. Yeah, they called a foul on the rebound. And Fletcher Lawyer for 2. But I think they called an offensive foul. There's been so many plays that look like they're going to be scorers, but they haven't been. Fact Aces, I'm pretty sure A&M superstar guard did a terrible day. I could be wrong. Yes, I agree with that. He did not play well. And Alabama, Brandon Miller, he played at a high level yet again. He's a really great player. So tough to stop. So it's 4-all, 16-30 to go in the first half. Penn State's bringing the ball off the floor. It's been some good ball movement from Penn State early. They just haven't been able to knock their threes in like they did against Indiana. It could be tired legs, though, because this is their 4th game in 4 days. Jalen Piggott with a step back, and he misses the shot. Purdue with the rebound. Braden Smith is pushing it early. Brandon Newman has faked like 3 players on Penn State's team so far. Fact 8 says their whole team did bad. They went 1964. You can't beat any team with a terrible shooting day like that for sure, especially a team like Alabama. For like you just said, especially against Bama, you cannot for sure. Penn State for 3, and they miss another 3. It might be tired legs. They could just be cold early because they were hitting those shots against Indiana. They're not hitting them right now. But thankfully for the Nittany Lions, Purdue isn't hitting their shots either. 4-4. Brandon Newman with a wide open 3. He misses. Jackson says, looks like we have a defensive battle in the Big Ten title game today. Wouldn't have it any other way, though, if it's the Big Ten. The Big Ten has always been the conference with tough defense. Some people would say bad offense at times, but it is tough defense. Jeff says Bama is really good. I agree. They are a fantastic team. I mean, they could go all the way. I mean, it's very tough to know who's going to go all the way right now in college basketball because there's just so many good teams. But Alabama is a team that if they can continue to shoot threes, just like Fact 8 says here, Bama just shoots threes nonstop. They got shooters for that, so I respect that. I mean, they are really good. And, I mean, yeah, they had to take like 35 threes to hit 11 of them. But the more threes you shoot, the more threes you're going to make. And if you make enough of them, you're going to be able to win because threes count more than twos, as they always say. That's why Penn State was able to beat Indiana yesterday because of the fact Penn State hit 8 threes, Indiana hit 1. It's just so tough to win games when you don't shoot threes and make them. We do have a pretty good game so far between Penn State and Purdue. It is early. The defense is there. The offense is kind of struggling a little bit out of the gate. But both teams are looking solid. Fact 8 says March Madness after these games, or does it start next week? March Madness, the first 4 starts on Tuesday, but then the first round of games starts Thursday of next week. So you only have 2 days to wait for the first 4 games that are in Dayton. It'll be the teams that are on the we're on just on the right side of the bubble, the 11 seeds. They'll have 4 games there, and then you'll have like the bottom seed teams as well. So 2 games between the teams that barely got in the field and 2 games between the 16 seeds that have to earn their way to play the 1 seeds. And then all the games start on Thursday. Should be a lot of fun. I mean, these matchups, I'm looking forward to see the reveal of the bracket in a couple hours. It's going to be awesome. And you always are going to be able to know, who potentially could make a run based on the bracket. If you get a favorable bracket, then it definitely helps out. Fact Ace says, hopefully there's another Cinderella story like last year. I agree. I mean, you want to have one of these teams go to the Elite Eight or at least the Sweet 16. It's so cool. Or even like Loyola Chicago and go to the Final Four. Because it just adds so much intrigue when a team that's, not supposed to be there, no one's expecting it, ends up going super far. It's awesome. So I wonder how Penn State's going to be able to approach this if their threes aren't falling. I wonder if they're going to try to drive in, but it's so hard to do that with Zach Edey, which is probably why they're taking so many threes, even though they are really good from the three-point line, but they don't seem to be wanting to get inside the paint. They're trying to shoot their way to a victory here. Purdue, they've been taking some tough shots and getting some. They've had some open looks, but they've shot a couple of tough shots. Probably getting it to Zach Edey down low would help Purdue out a lot. Fact Ace says, I think Arizona winning the full thing, though. Well, I mean, the way they played last night, probably have to do a little bit better on the offensive end, but their defense was there. Arizona definitely has the talent to do that. So it's 4-4, 15 minutes left in the first half. Purdue inbounds the ball. Braden Smith, been a really good freshman for Purdue. Definitely overexceeded expectations along with Fletcher Lawyer, but they haven't done much early. Zach Edey with the jump hook. He knocks it down 6-4. Penn State's a really short team. They just don't have anybody that can match up well with Zach Edey. Penn State started 2-2 from the field, but they've been 0-5 since. Nice turnaround. Penn State missed the shot, and Edey with the rebound. Those long arms, they swallow up all the boards. It's so tough to get a rebound on that guy. David Jenkins for three, and he knocks it down. He's been playing well for Purdue as the last few games. David Jenkins, the transfer from Utah, he's been really solid for the Boilermakers. If he continues to shoot threes at the rate that he's hitting the last few games, then Purdue could go far. He's been playing well. And Penn State turns it over. Penn State's starting to get rattled. Purdue's on a 9-0 run. To be fair, David Jenkins was left wide open, too. Penn State's got to guard better from the three-point line. They're giving up too many open shots. So there's 14-16 left in the first half, 9-4 Purdue, and Purdue has the ball. Purdue swinging it around. Braden Smith with the drive. Ethan Morton's been pretty solid in the corner for Purdue. He's had a good season. Good all-around player. Not too much of an offensive player. David Jenkins for another three, and he misses this one. Penn State with the rebound. Penn State needs a bucket. 9-4 Purdue. 13:40 left in the first half. Good pass for Penn State. Andrew Funk down low. 9-6. Penn State cut the lead to 3. Really good pass from Jalen Pickett. He's a very underrated player in college basketball. The transfer from Siena has been great for Micah Shrewsbury in Penn State. He averages like 7 assists per game. He's been really solid. Purdue swinging around again. Caleb first, and he misses a 3. Penn State with the rebound. Purdue's not going to Zach Edey right now. Kind of shocking. Seth Lundy driving it, and he kicks, and a turnover. Ethan Morton with a steal. He's been really good on the defensive end this year. Purdue almost turns it over. They hold on to it. Zach Edey's on the block. Backing down a really small guy compared to him, and he scores again. 11-6. Purdue's up 11-6 with 12 minutes left in the first half. Seth Lundy with a tough 2. Bad shot. He should not have shot that one. That was a tough shot. Purdue's pushing it yet again. Purdue swinging it. Braden Smith's driving again. Flips it to Edey for the easy slam. 13-6 Purdue. That was an easy dunk. Great pass. 12 minutes to go in the first half, and Purdue has been on a big run so far in this game, on a 13-2 run since Penn State took an early 4-0 lead. And Penn State almost turned it over again, but they hold on to it. They just look a little rattled early. Purdue almost with the turnover. Pickett, he picks it up, shoots it, but he misses. He misses an easy jumper. It's 13-6 Purdue, 11:30 to go in the first half. Penn State's largest deficit in the Big Ten tournament so far. Caleb First misses an easy layup. Penn State with the rebound. Andrew Funk got it, and he gives it to Jalen Pickett. Jalen Pickett's backing down Caleb First. Pickett trying to get some separation. He can't, but he moves around, and he misses the layup. Purdue is playing good defense early. Under 11 minutes to go in the first half. It's 13-6 Purdue. Braden Smith kicking out to David Jenkins in the corner, and they called a travel on David Jenkins. So it's 13-6 Purdue at the under 11 timeout. Jackson he says the American Conference title game looks like they have a little more offense compared to the Big Ten title game for sure. And then he asked, wonder if Penn State gets in the NCAA tournament if they lose. I think so. Jeff agrees as well. He thinks Penn State will because of the fact they've done enough. They have enough quality wins, especially with the bubble being as weak as it kind of has been this year. They should make the tournament. I think if the bubble was stronger this year, then you can make an argument that Penn State can miss the tournament, but they would only have 13 losses. They have 22 wins. And again, the bubble has teams like Michigan and Wisconsin relatively near it. So I think that you could make a definite argument that Penn State is a lock already. There's more likely no way that they're going to miss the tournament. Micah Shrewsbury's done a fantastic job. Jack said, what's up? It would be cool if Penn State gets in. For sure. I mean, they deserve it. I mean, they've been a team that no one was really expecting to be this good. They were supposed to be a bottom half Big Ten team, and they ended up, surprising a lot of people, beating a lot of teams, getting a lot of upsets. So, it's really, awesome to see Penn State play at the level that they are. And hopefully for Penn State, they don't lose Micah Shrewsbury to Notre Dame or Georgetown, because if they do, they're going to have to start from scratch all over again. They're starting to get some momentum, but that's what way it is when you're a school like Penn State and you are, on the lower tier of schools normally, that a lot of coaches want to go elsewhere when they start having success at a school like that. So they're going to have to pay Micah Shrewsbury if he's going to stay for sure. Jackson asked Jeff, does Vandy get in because they're winning way after that 57-point loss to Bama, or they missed their opportunity in the semifinals against Texas A&M? I would say they're probably short. I mean, I think they're probably going to fall a little bit short. I do think that, they should deserve consideration. They did have some bad losses early, but they played much better down the stretch of the season. But I would say I think they're going to fall a little short. But it would be awesome to see Jerry Stackhouse make the tournament, because his team definitely, played well down the stretch of the season, and they surprised a lot of people. Jackson says Memphis is up 24-18 against Houston for now. Yeah, Marcus Sasser, I mean, his injury has really hurt Houston. But, I mean, still, they have a really good team. And I think that, if Houston can get it together, then they can still win. But, I mean, not having Marcus Sasser does hurt, because he's a really good player and he runs the team. But still, I think that Houston can win without him. But Memphis is actually a really talented team. And Penny Hardaway, I mean, has them as one of the better teams, one of the better teams that he's ever had. But they're the second best team in the American Conference, even though that conference was down this year. But I do see, Memphis having a good chance to win, especially without Sasser. But I think Houston can still get it done. They're showing Zach Edey in single coverage. He's already got 8 points. There's just no way that Penn State's going to be able to continue to single coverage Zach Edey and expect to win, especially if Penn State isn't making shots, because he's going to score almost every time. Jalen Pickett on the block again. He's driving. And another missed layup for Penn State. They're not hitting their shots right now. 13-6 Purdue, 10 minutes to go in the first half. This has been a fast-moving first half so far. Trey Kaufman runs on the left block. He kicks it out to David Jenkins. Over to Brandon Newman in the corner, and he misses a three. Penn State had the rebound, but somehow they didn't end up with it. Mason Gillis gets the layup. 15-6, Purdue. Under 10 minutes to go in the first half. Penn State is really struggling on offense right now. That was a crazy play. Penn State had three guys right there to get the rebound. They didn't end up with it. Mason Gillis gets the easy two. That is crazy. Penn State knocks down a three finally. Jeff said, hope Vandy does, and I think they will because they beat number 23 Kentucky twice. It is possible. I mean, they have some quality wins. They did suffer some bad losses, and the bubble's weak, so you never know. Fletcher Loyer with a great catch. David Jenkins fakes the three in the corner. He takes the long two, and he knocks it down. Purdue's up 17-9. Jackson says, boom, three-pointer for Penn State. That was a big three for them, but they're going to have to get some more offense going. Miles Dredd in the corner. He knocks it down. Penn State, 17-12. That's a big shot to get them back in the game. Under 9 minutes to go in the first half. Purdue's looking really calm and poised right now in this first half. Penn State has been a bit rattled, but maybe that three will settle him down. Zach Edey's not in the game for Purdue, so that could help. Mason Gillis left wide open, and he misses a three. Penn State with the rebound. Jalen Pickett doing what he does best, backing teams down. Miles Dredd for three, and he knocks it down. It's a 2-point game. They're starting to come back. The Nittany Lions doing what they do best, knocking threes down. They're on a 9-2 run. Purdue on the left block. Trey Kaufman kicks it to David Jenkins, and he knocks in a three. Purdue's back up 20-15. Penn State's starting to feel it from three, but Purdue's just staying ahead of them right now. That was a big shot for Purdue. Jalen Pickett for another three, and he misses that one. Purdue's got the ball again. Jeff says Penn State and Vandy deserve more than UNC. I agree with that. For sure. Mason Gillis with a tough two. He thought he got fouled. He probably did, but 22-15. Purdue, 7 minutes to go in the first. Penn State with the ball. Penn State has to find a way to get inside, especially without Zach Edey in the game. They continue to shoot threes, and they miss another one. Purdue with the rebound. Penn State's falling behind early. They're down 7 with 6:45 to go in the first half. Trey Kaufman getting double teamed. They kick it back out to Fletcher Loyer. Almost a turnover for Purdue. They get the ball back. And Fletcher Loyer for three. Wow. 25-15 Purdue. As Edwards says, what a shot for Purdue. That was a crazy shot. That's a big momentum builder for Purdue. They're up 10. 25-15 Purdue. 6 to go in the first. 8-0 run for the Boilers. Just when Penn State had cut it to 2. And Andrew Funk for 2 for Penn State to settle things down. 25-17 Purdue. 5:45 left in the first. Fletcher Lawyer, he misses that three. Almost dropped in, but it did not go in. Penn State with the ball pushing it down the floor. They almost turn it over, and they do turn it over. It went off Andrew Funk's hand. 25-17 Purdue. 5:27 in the first. Purdue's playing really good defense on Penn State. To be fair, Penn State has missed some easy looks as well. But overall, Purdue's playing really well on defense, and they're starting to hit some threes as well, which is really good for Purdue. They're a dangerous team when they're knocking threes in as well as you have Zach Edey. It makes them almost impossible to stop. Memphis right now is up 28-18 on Houston. Houston's really struggling right now, just like Penn State is. But that's more surprising with Houston than it is with Penn State, because a lot of people think that Purdue's going to get the easy win over Penn State, even though some people do think it will be close, especially with the way Penn State's been playing. But Houston's definitely favored over Memphis. But without Marcus Sasser, that makes it a lot more difficult. Hopefully he'll be back for the tournament. Yeah, Penn State, I mean, they're a really good team. But when you live and die by the three-point line, it does make it really tough because of the fact you have to be able to have inside presence. You have to be able to get easy twos. And Penn State does have guards that can drive to the hoop, but unfortunately for them, when you have Zach Edey on the other side for Purdue, then it makes it really hard to drive in. But Zach Edey was sitting on the bench for a while, and they didn't even drive in. They just kept shooting threes. So I think that was not really good game planning by Penn State there. They probably needed to drive in more, but they didn't. And now Zach Edey's going to be coming back in after this TV timeout, and they're not going to be able to drive in. They're just going to keep shooting threes. And if they're not making their threes, it's going to be really tough for them to win. Jackson points out, yeah, Memphis is ahead 28-18. Impressed with Memphis so far. They've looked really good. Memphis is playing really good basketball. And if they get the win over Houston, it'll definitely help their seeding in the tournament. Now they show the score 25-16 Purdue. I guess Penn State, one of their threes, I guess, was a 2. Jackson says it's now 30-18 Memphis. It's not looking good for Houston early. Yeah, one of Penn State's threes was a 2. His foot was on the line. That definitely hurts Penn State. You need all the points you can get right now. They just got one taken back. But his foot was on the line. The 25-16 Purdue, 5:27 left in the first half, and Jalen Pickett only has 2 points. That is not ideal for Penn State. He's going to have to start scoring some more. He's a good passer as well, but if his teammates aren't making shots, then it makes it really hard to find ways to win and score to be able to get the win. Braden Smith's back in for Purdue along with Zach Edey. Braden Smith whips in the corner to Mason Gillis. He misses a 3. Penn State with the rebound. Seth Lundy faking the 3, but he can't drive. Now Jalen Pickett with the ball at the top of the key. And Cameron Winter misses a 3. But they do call a foul on Purdue. That could help Penn State get back in rhythm. Jackson says not looking good for the future Big 12 team right now. Yeah, Houston's definitely struggling. Yeah, he definitely fouled. Ethan Morton fouled Cameron Winter. He fouled him really good. I guess if you're going to foul, you might, make the foul count, I guess. But still, that was not a good foul. Penn State hits the first. Penn State can knock all three of these free throws down. They can make it a 2-possession game again. He knocks down the second, 25-18. Penn State's cut it to 7. And Penn State had a lot of free throws against Indiana last time out. They were 23 of 26 at the line. That was a big reason they got the win over the Hoosiers. They're a really good free throw shooting team. And he hits them all. So now it's a 6-point game. 25-19. Purdue with under 5 to go in the first half. Jackson says Memphis up now 38-20. The Tigers came to play today. At least this game's a little closer. But Zach Edey just missed, got the offensive rebound, and he put it back. 27-19. He is just large. It is so difficult to stop. Penn State trying to find some offense. That was a good pass. Seth Lundy down low. He's being doubled. And Penn State with the easy slam. 27-21. Penn State's got to get stops, though, if they want to cut this before the half. So far, they have not been able to get stops. Penn State stripped it, but went out of bounds off the Nittany line. So Purdue ball, 27-21 Purdue. 4 minutes left in the first half. Yeah, Jeff says, yeah, it's shocking Houston isn't playing better. I'm shocked, too. I thought they definitely would play better, even without Marcus Sasser, but they are struggling right now. Purdue's up 6, 27-21. Zach Edey down low, and he just got fouled hard. Penn State tried. I mean, you got to give him credit for trying to stop Edey, but he was just too far down low, and they had to foul him hard just to prevent him from scoring. So it's 27-21 Purdue with under 4 to go in the first half. The final TV timeout before the half. It's been a pretty good first half, about as expected. Purdue getting the ball to Edey down low. He's making shots. Purdue's hit a few threes, but Penn State, they're shooting a lot of threes, but they haven't made too many of them. They made 3 out of about 10. If they start hitting more of their threes in the second, they'll have a chance. They're definitely going to have to start knocking some shots down if they want to get this win. I don't know if Will's here, but congratulations to VCU. They got the win over Dayton in the A-10 tournament, so they're going dancing. So a lot of big wins today. A lot of teams have punched their ticket. And obviously these two teams here, Penn State and Purdue, have already punched their ticket. More than likely with Penn State. They're about 99% sure that they're in, even if they don't beat Purdue. Same thing with Memphis, Houston. If Memphis does not win against Houston, they're more likely in the tournament anyway. But it's looking really good for them right now. They're up big over Houston. But both these games, this is just about getting that title, the American title and the Big Ten championship title. You want to get that win, even if you're already in the tournament. But Penn State, I mean, when you're a team that relies on three-point shooting, I mean, they might be a bit gassed because of the fact they have played 4 games in 4 days. And when you're shooting threes, your legs get tired. Purdue's got Zach Edey, and even though he's probably really tired as well for playing the third game in 3 days, he's a guy that just really on both ends of the floor, he stands there and he plays great defense, and his presence alone, he doesn't have to necessarily move around too much because he's, just such a large guy that he can just block layups going in. And then on the offensive end, he scores relatively deep in the paint at times, and he doesn't have to, necessarily, move around as much as a shorter guy would. So even though his stamina is not as high as a shorter player, he's got, the ability to be able to get easier buckets than some other, individuals like centers in the Big Ten. And Penn State just doesn't really have a guy to put a body on him, so he's just getting whatever he wants. And Penn State's having to shoot threes to win, and they just look tired a little bit right now. He thought maybe the fatigue would catch up with him a little bit. But, you're in the Big Ten championship game. You want to give it everything you've got. And I'm sure Penn State will try everything they can to get the win. But Purdue, they're playing really well on the offensive end right now, getting the ball to Edey. They're making shots. And Purdue's used to being here. I mean, they've, won several Big Ten, titles. Whereas you look at a team like Penn State that hasn't been there since 2011. So sometimes it's a factor if you've never been there either. Yeah, hopefully this game is not like the Big Ten Women's Championship. Iowa destroyed Ohio State. Hopefully this game is a lot closer than that one. But Purdue definitely has that formula. Get the ball to Zach Edey down low, and if it's not there, kick it out and shoot a three. Purdue definitely has a really good system of offense designed around Zach Edey. And he's going to the line right now. Purdue up 6, 27-21 Purdue, 3:57 left in the first half, and he's going to the line. Zach Edey has 10 points and 6 rebounds already. It's like a quiet 10 and 6. And he misses the first free throw. He is a really good free throw shooter for his size. He shoots 73% at 7'4", which is really good. But he misses the first. And he knocks in the second. 28-21 Purdue. Where does Penn State's offense go from here? Now that you have Zach Edey back in the game, it's going to be really hard to get easier buckets down low. So are they going to try to shoot their way to victory, get some threes in? Because they've really been struggling from outside the arc early. Penn State's passing the ball really well. Until there, they just turned it over. They had some good passing, but sometimes you overpass. Ethan Morton for three. He misses. Penn State with the rebound. If Purdue had to hit that three, they could have really started to blow this thing open. So Penn State definitely needed that miss. Ethan Morton is hounding Cameron Winter at the top of the key. Now Seth Lundy has the ball for Penn State. Seth Lundy misses the layup. But Zach Edey fouls Penn State on the rebound. So just under 3 to go. And Purdue's up 28-21 over Penn State. And they're showing Gene Cady, the longtime Purdue head coach, a legend of the school. He did not like that call on Zach Edey getting the foul. Penn State with the top of the key with the ball, trying to drive on Zach Edey, which is tough. It's funny that Penn State's trying to drive more now with Zach Edey in there. You had the chance to do it without him in. And Jalen Pickett, it's a tough fadeaway too, 28-23. Penn State's cut it to 5. Zach Edey on the block, kicking out to Braden Smith. Down to Edey again. They're trying to double him. And they call a foul. I don't know if Penn State can guard him. It's either a foul or it's a shot every single time. That was a tough shot by Jalen Pickett. That was a really good shot. David Jenkins with the ball at the top of the key. And they call another foul on Penn State. They call that one on Seth Lundy. They're only one more foul away from the bonus. Penn State has 6 fouls, and they've all been committed on Edey. That is not surprising. You're trying to stop the 7'4" guy. It's tough. Edey down low again, and he scores 30-23. Jeff says both teams look tired. I agree. I mean, you're playing several games, in several days in a row. It's just tough. But you want to win, you're definitely going to fight for it. Seth Lundy driving. What a shot over Zach Edey. That was a tough shot for Seth Lundy. What a drive. 30-25 Purdue. 1:30 left in the first. David Jenkins at the top of the key, and he knocks it down. David Jenkins has been on fire for Purdue lately. He's definitely playing better basketball right now at the right time. 33-25 Purdue, 1 minute left in the first half. He's got 11 points, David Jenkins. That's huge for Purdue because it's not all Edey. And Penn State turns it over. 33-25, 59 seconds left in the first half. Penn State a little sloppy there. They've been a little sloppy in this game overall. Just kind of have to settle it down a little bit. Braden Smith with the ball. He's driving in. Kicks it to Mason Gillis. He gets it to Edey on the block. Back to Braden Smith. And he misses a three. Edey with the board. And he knocks it down. 35-25. Zach Edey scores again. Penn State just cannot stop him right now. It's Zach Edey's 50th straight game with 10-plus points. That's amazing. He's got 15 points already. Connor Johnson, thanks for being here. He says, how's this conference going to get all the bids they will undoubtedly get is beyond me. For sure. I mean, a lot of people think the Big Ten is weak. I mean, it's kind of one of those things where you have good performances in the non-conference, which the Big Ten, had, and a lot of the teams are really good in the net. And then you start beating up on each other, and then more and more of the teams are starting to get quality wins on each other, and it keeps all the teams relatively above water in the net, and they get enough wins, and that's how you get all these teams in. Now, whether they're all deserving or not, maybe they aren't, but still, it just comes down to the fact that over time, there's just so many teams that are getting wins over each other that enough of them have a resume that belongs in the tournament. But it's 35-27 Purdue. 9 seconds left in the first half. It's definitely been a first half dominated by the Boilers after a 4-0 start from Penn State. But Penn State overall, they just cannot find a way to slow down Zach Edey. And David Jenkins is lighting it up from the outside, which is not going to be a recipe for success for Penn State. They can't have Purdue making shots, and they can't have, Zach Edey dominating down low. They can't let both work. Thanks, Connor Johnson. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I completely agree with you. I totally understand why people don't think the Big Ten is deserving. I mean, it's definitely arguable, especially with their performances in the conference tournament, but it is what it is, just beating up on each other. I mean, Penn State was a team that was on the outside looking in until a couple weeks ago, and they've won 5 games in a row, and they've gotten all their wins are over quad one teams, even over Ohio State because they beat them on the road, and people are like, well, Ohio State's not a good team. Well, in the net, they're in the top 50, and they beat them on the road, so it technically is a quad one win, even though they're not very good, on the floor, and they have a below 500 record. It's just interesting how the net works. It's all about margin of victory as well. David Jenkins in the corner. He misses a three. Penn State with the board, and that is it. The first half is 35-27 Purdue. Definitely a first half dominated by Purdue. Penn State tried to creep back in, but they had some struggles doing that. Drop the link in the chat if anybody wants to talk during halftime. I mean, this has been a really good first half. Maybe Penn State can try to find a way to creep back in the second. But they've done their best to stay in the game. But overall, they're not doing enough if they want to win. They're not making enough shots, and Zach Edey's just getting whatever he wants. And Purdue's shooting better from three than Penn State. Again, that is not a recipe for success. I think Penn State is definitely a team that is capable of winning this game because of the fact that they have the shooters. But again, they're tired legs. They just don't like they're going to be able to get it done right now. Obviously, anything's possible. Maybe they can start getting things going, but they're really struggling on the defense side of the ball, stopping Purdue, and they're not hitting their shots. But it will be interesting to see for sure how Penn State responds in the second half, because if they are able to find a way to start making their threes and get some shots down, then I definitely think that they can come back. I mean, they have the ability, to have the shooters, and that's what makes it so, dangerous to beat Penn State, is if they start knocking their threes down, there's almost nothing you can do, but they just aren't hitting their shots. So it's one of those things where they're either going to make shots or they're not, and whether they do or don't is going to determine the outcome. How you doing, Jack?
Well, this is a Big Ten championship game, so I don't have Purdue Penn State. So how's it going today?
I'm going pretty good. It's been a good game. I mean, it's kind of gone how I've expected with, Penn State. They're either going to make shots or they're going to miss on what's going to determine the outcome of who's going to win. And they're just not making their shots right now. And I just think that overall, if they continue to miss their shots, they're not going to be able to win. And Purdue, they're just really hard to guard with Zach Edey. And Penn State just can't put a body on them. But it has been a high-level first half, but hopefully it goes down to the wire in the second.
Right. But yeah, what was your takeaway from the A10 tourney today?
Yeah, that game right there. I mean, definitely, if you look at, VCU, they were the team that felt the most deserving to make the tournament. Obviously, if they didn't win, then more than likely they weren't going to be, in March Madness, because they weren't going to have enough, quality wins or whatever. They weren't going to have, the resume that they needed to make the tournament, because the A10's been down this year.
Right.
Not as good of a league as in years past where they can get 2 or 3 teams in the tournament. But I think if you look at, VCU, they were the team that was most deserving to make the tournament, even though Dayton has solid players and Fordham's had a great year that they don't normally have. But I think that VCU winning they were definitely the team that deserved to make the tournament, and they got it done.
Totally. And, Bama winning the SEC championship game, that was a big one. It's their second in 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
What was your takeaway from that today?
I mean, that was a beatdown in the second half. That was a relatively close game in the first half, but then in the second half, Alabama just took over, and that was a dominating performance. If you look at, Alabama, when they're playing at, their best, they are almost unbeatable. They are definitely beatable because they don't play at a high level all the time, but the way they played today against Texas A&M shows they could be a team that can go all the way, or at least to the Final Four, if they continue to play like that. That was a great performance.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty big. So right now we're at halftime with Penn State, Purdue. Purdue's winning 35-27. And right now, Memphis is beating the future Big 12 team, Houston, 46-31. What's your takeaway so far from Memphis-Houston? What does Houston need to do to make a second half miraculous comeback? Does it have any effect on their 1 seed status if they lose today?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I think this game, if you look at, Houston, they don't have Marcus Sasser. His injury definitely, hurts their guard play, because, he's definitely the guy that runs the team, handles the ball. And I think it is showing in this game. And I think Memphis understands that, and they're taking advantage of that, and they're playing at a high level, and they really want to get this win to boost their NCAA tournament seeding. But to your point about Houston and getting a number 1 seed, I think that they still have a case for it, an argument for it.
Right.
Because of the fact this would only be their 3rd loss. And, I mean, they've played well all season long. I mean, they do have the loss to Temple, which is tough. But UCLA lost last night. And if Purdue was somehow able to lose this game, then I think that it is possible that Houston would still get a 1 seed. I do think, though, that if they lose, it is possible they could lose it. But I think that they maybe would still get it. But it would be close, because it would probably be Alabama, Kansas, Purdue, and then they would decide between Houston and UCLA. and that would be close. But at worst, they'll be the top 2 seed, but they'll probably be the bottom 4, the 4th number 1 seed if they lose this game.
All right. Jeffrey, you made a great point about how Penn State's biggest strength is their 3-point game.
Mm-hmm.
What are they gonna have to do besides their 3-point game in order to get back up against Purdue and going into the second half? What are they gonna have to do?
Well, I mean, you look at Penn State. I mean, they're a team that is, like I said before, like you pointed out, they're designed to shoot threes, but they look tired because this is their 4th game in 4 days. Which, I mean, that's what happens when you're playing in tournaments. Their legs look tired. Their threes are short, most of them. So to your point, what are they going to have to do to find a way to win? And that's drive and get in the paint. But Purdue is Zach Edey, and it is so difficult to drive in on a guy that's 7'4" and be able to score on him. And to me, the stretch that Zach Edey was not in the game, and he didn't, he sat for like 4 minutes. That was the stretch where Penn State needed to drive in and get layups. That's where Penn State needed to try to find easier buckets. But for whatever reason, when Zach Edey was out of the game, Penn State only took threes. It doesn't really make sense. And then when Zach Edey came back in the game, they were trying to drive again. So they're going to have to find a way to get buckets inside if the threes aren't falling, if they want to have a shot to win. But when Zach Edey subs out, in that time that he subbed out, that's when Penn State needs to try to drive in.
So if Purdue was to win the title game in just a little bit, where do they stand in seeding?
I think that Purdue will be a 1 seed if they win. And if Houston loses, they could possibly be the 3rd overall 1 seed. I think that's possible. If Houston wins somehow, then Purdue would be the 4th one. I think that if UCLA had a won last night, they could have been the 4th number 1. But I think that UCLA will be the top number 2 seed, and Purdue will hang on at a 1 regardless of this result. But I think that if they win and Houston lose, they could be the 3rd overall number 1 seed.
Right. So, and if Penn State, where do they stand? Win or lose. Like if they win today, where do they stand in the tournament? Like, they're in, but what seeding are they in? But if they lose, are they going to play in a first 4 game? Are they going to be one of the last teams in with the last 4 byes? Where does Penn State stand?
That's a great question. I mean, they have a variety of scenarios because right now they're kind of projected around the 9-10 seed area, because before they beat Indiana and before they got the win over Northwestern, they were like in the last 4 in. And then when they beat Northwestern, they moved up out of like that to the last 4 byes, and now they're off the bubble, kind of around the 9-10 line. I've seen more have them as a 9 seed. I think if they are able to beat Purdue, I think they can move up to an 8 seed. 7's pushing it, but I think an 8 seed is more reasonable. And if they lose this game close, they can maybe still get a 9, maybe. But more than likely, they'd be one of the top 10 seeds. But if they lose by a decent amount, they'll probably be one of the bottom 10 seeds. Pushing on last 4 byes, but I think that they would maybe even avoid that, but they'd be a 10 seed.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic watching Penn State see what they do in March. That is, they've shown us that they are fantastic in the Big Ten tourney. It's too bad we didn't get a 3rd Purdue-Indiana matchup.
Man, I was really hoping that they would, not just because, Indiana and everything, but like to see Indiana-Purdue play a 3rd time would have been so cool. I mean, Purdue, I wouldn't say assume, but you would feel like they'd have a really good shot to get the win over Indiana this time because Indiana beat them twice. And with Purdue having Zach Edey, Trace Jackson Davis probably would have been very tired, having his 3rd game in 3 days. And Indiana does struggle from 3, and they rely a lot on paint points. So you feel like maybe Purdue would have got the win this time. But, yeah, a lot of people wanted to see an Indiana-Purdue rematch because the high-profile of that game would have been a lot higher than this one, even though Penn State has done a lot to deserve recognition for sure, and they definitely deserve to be here. But, yeah, Purdue-Indiana definitely would have been a huge draw because of the fact that they were rivals playing for the 3rd time, and it's Purdue-Indiana. But
Right.
Indiana fell short. Penn State, they hit threes, they hit free throws, they found a way to win. But they're definitely going to have to find a way to do more of that in the second half if they want to win the Big Ten.
For sure. So, one question about Purdue.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a lot of them so far. But in all seriousness, about Purdue, is this the year where they get off the schneid in March Madness?
That's a great question because, I mean, a lot of people question Purdue because the fact they never advance. It's kind of like a Tennessee thing with Rick Barnes, how they never advance. They always lose early in the tournament. And Purdue, to me, it's just a style of play with Zach Edey and the fact that they rely so heavily on him. You know, he gets a lot of points at the free throw line. And I think that overall, if you look at, you know, the NCAA tournament, usually there's fewer fouls called, not always, but there's usually fewer fouls. So there's not as many free throw attempts for Purdue. And then Purdue has to shoot threes. And sometimes their guard play is a bit inconsistent where they're not able to make shots. Like in this game, David Jenkins has been hitting threes, which that's why I point out was huge, because if they're able to do that in the tournament, then I think there's a potential shot that not Penn State, but Purdue could advance far because David Jenkins is shooting threes. Same thing with Penn State. If they shoot threes as well, they could advance far in the tournament. But unfortunately, Purdue is a team that can get really cold from three. And when they are, they just aren't able to, get more offense outside of Zach Edey. And I think that when you're playing a team like Purdue lost to St. Peter's last year, they were a really scrappy team, a really small team, and they were hitting their shots because, they were the Cinderella story from last year. And a lot of times, like a UMBC over Virginia, when you have those smaller teams that are just making shots and you're not, then you could get upset. So Purdue's style kind of leads them to be upset. But I do think that Purdue has a shot, especially if they're a 1 seed, to go farther, in the tournament this year. But I think that it's going to come down to their guard play. It's not going to be Zach Edey, but it's going to come down to their guard play. Braden Smith, David Jenkins, Fletcher Loyer, they got to make shots if they want to advance. Hi, Salvador. Thanks for being here.
So, out of the Big Ten tourney,
mm-hmm.
who has had the most impressive coaching job? Who's done the most fantastic job?
That, could go one or two ways. I think that you could look at one result would probably be Mike Shrewsbury, going as far as he has. And also you could look at Ohio State with Chris Holtman. That was impressive, going all the way to the semifinals with that team. So I think that, probably Penn State and also Ohio State were the two most impressive for sure.
Yeah, it's I'm curious.
Hey, Michael, he says, "Hey, Jeffrey, how are you doing tonight, sir? And what is your take about the end of the Pac-12 championship?" And I don't know if you've seen it yet, but as of now, Bama is the overall number 1 seed. Yeah, that was a fantastic game. It was a thriller, went down to the wire, and UCLA ended up winning by 2. Arizona ended up winning over by 2 over UCLA. UCLA fell short. They had a chance to win with a 3, but Arizona getting the 2-point win over UCLA, huge win. UCLA had a shot, but that was a great game. And to your point of Bama being the number 1 overall seed, I could see that because they have a lot of good wins. Kansas slipped up against Texas, and they're playing really well. So, but yeah, that Pac-12 championship game, huge win for Arizona over UCLA. That was a great game. But yeah, that was fantastic. But thanks for being here, man. Thanks. It should be a good finish, hopefully, for you and Purdue. Purdue is looking really good right now.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good so far.
Mm-hmm.
But Memphis, man, they've been pretty fantastic.
Oh, yeah. Well, Memphis is a team that is actually really talented. They have a lot of athleticism. And, DeAndre Williams and, Kendrick Davis, they just have good players. And Houston is a team that is also really talented and athletic as well. But when you're losing Marcus Sasser in this game to injury, Memphis is healthy. They're just taking advantage of that. And I could definitely see them, holding on and getting the win, even though Houston is definitely capable of coming back. Michael says, Jen, unless something drastic happens the next 20 minutes for Purdue, is going to be Bama. Oh man, Michael said, "Who's the cheesehead with us?"
Beats me.
He's all about your Wisconsin.
Oh, some
Wisconsin.
old friends got me the Wisconsin pullover a few years back. I did a job for them around the house, watered
Mm-hmm.
their flowers, all that, and
Mm-hmm.
got some good money out of it. And got this nice little pullover as a gift, as a thank you gift. It
That's
was
really cool, man.
thank you, man. Plus, it looks pretty good for the occasion. After all, it is the Big Ten title game. I mean, I
Yeah, I mean,
know
it's the
this.
wrong team, but it's still really festive though. Right
Sure.
conference.
I don't, yeah, because I don't have any Penn State Purdue stuff with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Penn State's really gonna have to make a move though if they want to find a way to win this one because they've really, just not done well on the offensive end. They haven't made their shots, and yeah, it's definitely been a tough ride.
Oh,
Second
for
half's
sure.
just starting.
Oh man, it's gonna be exciting. Coach Shrewsbury's drinking some water. He's just like, okay, gotta start the second half. Let's go, boys. Let's go.
Yeah, and on cue, Penn State starts the second half with a missed three.
Mm.
Just cannot get anything going right now.
Living and dying by the three. That's gonna bite you.
It definitely works, but then once the well runs dry, then it just doesn't work anymore. It's tough.
Yeah. Oh man, Penn State. I see. And
Lundy with another
you're
three.
5 seconds ahead of me right now, aren't you?
I think so. But
Yeah.
Lundy missed another
Yeah.
three.
Yeah. What's the future like 20 seconds from now, man?
I have no clue. I don't know. I don't know if it's any worse or any better. It's better if you're a Purdue fan, though, because Mason Gillis has hit another three. 38-27 Purdue. Penn State cannot get anything going. Edwards
No.
says he thinks Edey's going to get killed in the NBA. That man reminds me of Luke Cornett. Oh, yeah, I mean, he's not super quick.
No, missed the three.
Michael says I should say that Jenkins got the start for Purdue and another three for Purdue. I mean, Jenkins, he played really well, and he definitely deserves the start.
Purdue got the three.
Penn State's at the line, and they hit the first free throw, so they've cut it to 10. It's 38-28. Michael says, Edward, when was the last time you saw a 7-footer have a speed and can move his feet? I mean, not often. I mean, I guess you count Chet Holmgren. He's 7 foot, but yeah, 7'4", not really. I mean, they got that Victor Wembanyama that's 7'5". I mean, he's crazy. Edwards says, Giannis, Utah center, Lori. I mean, there's a lot of players that are really tall that can move, but yeah, Zach Edey's not built for that. He's not built like that.
Oh man. Oh, Memphis still having a ballroom blitz with Houston. Oh man, they're basically making sure Houston goes bye-bye.
Yeah, it's definitely looking that way, and Purdue's trending in that direction as well. It's 40-29 Purdue, 17:50 left in the second.
Oh man.
Michael says, okay, Jared, I'm going to take off, or are you going to be on later tonight with your bracket breakdown? If so, what time? Well, I don't know if you'll be up still, but me and Austin are going to be doing a bracket thing, previewing or breaking down the bracket, going over the matchups at like 10:30 tonight.
Ooh, that'll be fun.
Should be lots of fun. So hopefully you can be there if you can. If not, it's cool. Thanks for being here, though. Edward says Shaq could, Dwight Howard. I could go on and on. He's basically naming all the best players of all time that were tall that could do what Edey can. I mean, Edey's a great player, but yes, he's not super quick, but he does have skill, but I don't know if it's going to translate well to the NBA. But you never know.
Oh man, Penn State's now down by 9. Dwight Howard's pretty cool, but those last few years have just been kind of man.
Awesome, Michael. Sounds great. I can't wait to see you there. Yeah, you're right about Dwight Howard. I mean, he was really good when he was at the Magic, but last few years, I mean, he's an older player. And when you're tall, when you're older, it's tough for sure.
True.
I mean, your prime as a tall player is shorter than when you're a guard. Michael says, Edward, you're missing my point. Well, I mean, again, Edward's naming all of the greatest centers of all time.
Oh man, Penn State blocked a 3-pointer from Purdue.
Yeah, that was a big block. Edwards said Edie is just Taco Falls. That's
Whatever
funny.
happened to Taco Falls, man?
He's actually in the Chinese league that playing for the Shanghai Sharks. Yeah, he's not even playing in the NBA anymore. I was actually shocked to read that about a month ago. I thought he was still in the NBA, like the G League, but no, he's in the Chinese league.
Oh man.
Michael says Edward, Shaq, Dwight Howard was not fast or had great footwear. That is what I'm saying. Oh man, that's a good debate right there. Purdue's up 40-31 over Penn State, 17-11 left in the second half. It says on Jerry Palm's bracketology, has Kansas, Alabama, Houston, Purdue as the 1 seed. And Kansas has 7 losses, but they have 15 quad 1 wins. That's going to be tough to keep them from being a 1 seed.
I mean, I know this won't happen, but I wonder if this year will be the second ever Final Four where we see all the 1 seeds in the Final Four. I mean, I know it won't happen, but I just wonder if it'll happen.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, I think it makes it tough when you're a 1 seed because you have that target on your back. Teams want to beat you so badly, and it puts more pressure on you not to lose. But, I mean, I think it's possible that you could sometime have a Final Four with all 1 seeds, but I definitely don't think this is the year, especially considering all the parity. There's so many good teams. There's more good teams than normal. And you look at the amount of times Purdue's been upset, Kansas, some of the top teams, they've just been beat a lot by teams that you wouldn't expect. So I think that there will definitely be a lot of upsets for sure using that logic.
Oh, yeah.
But you never know.
I don't know if this year will be the year where we see a 1 seed lose a 16 seed like Virginia 2018.
That was amazing. I remember when it happened. They're like, it's never happened before. And when it happened, that was insane. Especially because Virginia was a team that, they were better with the lead. But when they fell behind, they were just so desperate.
Yeah. I still wish I wasn't dumb enough to put Virginia as national champion. I kick myself every day for that.
Yeah, that's definitely tough. And then they lose in the first round. But Purdue, they're only up by 4 now. 40-36.
Oh,
over
man.
Penn State. 16 to go in the second half. Penn State's cutting it a little bit.
Bam.
And Zach Edey for 2 and a foul. Zach Edey's so large they couldn't stop him again. Edwards says back to Michael. Shaq and Dwight both had great footwork. That tells me you don't watch.
Jeff saying, here comes Penn State.
Oh, they're coming.
The Nittany Lions, the Fighting Simbas.
He's got 19 points and 8 boards.
Oh, man, they're playing that song. Oh, I just can't wait to be king.
It's always good to have a theme song. I mean, West Virginia's got country roads, so whatever works.
Oh, there you go. Or they're probably playing Hakuna Matata right now because all you got to do is have no worries and you're good to go in the Big Ten.
Penn State missed. Zach Edey with the board again. He's about to have a double-double. Jeff said Taco's about to check in. Yeah, I don't know.
He's coming here?
No, I don't think so. I think he's joking. That'd be so cool, though, if Taco came back. I mean, it'd be really cool, but he just hasn't played in the last year.
Oh, man.
Penn State for 2, 43-38, 15 to go in the second half.
Oh man, you're 20 seconds ahead of me, man. Oh man. Let's see, Purdue. Big man for the three-pointer misses. Swing and a miss.
Penn State's moving it again. They're starting to look more inspired in the second half. They're not playing as sloppy. They're passing the ball better, starting to make shots. They're building confidence again.
Oh man, Penn State's been they've been 3 out of 12. They've had a 25% rate of three-pointers today. That's sloppy. That is sloppy.
Yeah, for sure. I still think it has a lot to do with the tired legs, for sure. I mean, it's one of those things where, when you're playing all these games in a row, you want to win, but sometimes the fatigue just is too much.
Yes.
And I think the fatigue is really set in for Penn State. They do seem to have more life in the second half, so maybe they have a little bit left in the tank.
Yeah. Oh man, that's 4 games in 4 days. That's insane.
Memphis is up only about 10 now on Houston's 50-40. They're cutting it a little bit.
Yeah. And let's see. Wonder where Memphis, Houston is going again. Oh, they're on commercial break.
Yeah, but both games are on commercial break right now.
Yeah, we don't want Subways right now. No.
Oh, man. And people love to eat, food like wings and pizza and stuff during games, man. It's, crazy. That's why they're getting all these advertisements in.
For sure.
So many people watching.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's the farmers insurance commercial. We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Yeah, you love a commercial. It's got a good jingle that when you hear it, you know exactly what it is.
What? I see these little Applebee's commercials. They always play good music on there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, a lot of them is like 80s music. They've played a lot of they have the Cheers theme, and they have like an AC/DC song. They do some good ones. Play Donna Summer. So yeah, they've got good music in those commercials.
I forgot the song's name, but it goes like this. Don't tell me what I want, what I really want. Don't tell me what I want.
Spice Girls.
I want one. I want all. What was it again?
That's by the Spice Girls. I can't remember what the song, the title of the song was from the Spice Girls.
I'm probably gonna be up late looking up that song again. Probably have it stuck in my head within the next month. Then there's just gonna be like, oh, tell me what I want. Why are you singing that song? Stuck in my head. I heard it on ESPN.
Oh man. So in your opinion, do you think there's a better chance that Houston comes back and beats Memphis, or Penn State upsets Purdue?
I think there's a better chance that Penn State upsets Purdue than Houston coming back, really. Because, I think that groin injury to what's the guy's name at Houston?
Marcus Sasser.
Yeah, that is going to bite them in the rear. And it's biting him in the rear today.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah. So, Penn State, they're going to come back compared to – I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying there's a better chance of Penn State coming back compared to Houston coming back.
Yeah, for sure. Purdue's got the ball. They're up 5, 14-20 to go in the second. They got it to Zach Edey on the low block again. Ethan Mort for a wide open 3, and he misses. But Edey with the board, and he knocks it in. But they call a foul on the floor.
There you go.
So no bucket.
Nope.
Penn State just cannot put a body on them.
No. Maybe they need to hear that "Don't Tell Me What I Really Want" song. That'll get
They probably need like growth spray to be able to get taller. So someone to get taller on the team to be able to guard Edie.
Oh, like that little juice from Space Jam. That'll get them up. Yeah, they need something like that.
For sure. Edie for
Yeah.
2. 45-38 Purdue. 13:50 left in the second.
Oh, here we go. Houston's really holy crap. Now it's a 10-point lead for the Memphis Tigers.
Purdue's starting to pass the ball really well.
I'm thinking Houston must have taken that suggestion of take the Space Jam water.
Oh, for sure. I mean, they're starting to play better. They got a good team even without Sasser. They got a really good team, but it's just taking a while to figure it out. They might come back and beat Memphis. You never know.
Oh, for sure. Is Houston a Final Four team this year, or are they going to come up short in, like, say, Sweet 16 or something?
I think if Marcus Sasser's healthy and he returns, which he should be available for the tournament, then I think that they can go to the Final Four. It's possible. They'll have to play at a high level on offense, more often than they kind of do at times where they do struggle on the offensive end. They're a great defensive team, but their offense does have a tendency to fall asleep at times. But I do think if they're playing high level of offense throughout the tournament, then they are capable of going to the Final Four.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic.
Purdue Penn State cannot stop Edie. They just cannot stop Purdue on the boards. They're getting the offensive rebounds. They're getting the defensive rebounds. Purdue is just dominating the glass.
I'm going to tell you right now, if I'm a team right now in the region that Memphis is in, I'm nervous if I'm going up against Memphis. Penny Hardaway, man, and that Memphis team, oh, man, they are dangerous.
Yeah, I can agree with that for sure. I mean, they're really, playing their best basketball at the right time.
Oh, yeah.
Penn State finally got a rebound. They're pushing it up the floor. Andrew Funk for 3, and he misses. And Purdue ends up with the ball. It's 47-38 Purdue, 12:20 left in the second half.
There you go, man. Just a bit outside.
And they call another foul on Penn State.
You're going to lose some guys that way. Let's see. Purdue. And a miss.
Jeff says the way both these teams are playing, Indiana could have beat both of them. Yeah, it figures that Indiana got Penn State when Penn State couldn't miss a 3, and now Penn State's really struggling from the outside.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they could be a surprise. I'm wondering if Indiana could be that surprise Final Four team this year.
I think Indiana could go to a Final Four if they can get more, 3-point shooting from their guards, because they have statistically good shooters, but they're not high volume shooters. They don't shoot enough threes. Miller Kopp, Trey Galloway, Jalen Hood-Schifino, if they can knock some threes down, Tamar Bates as well, to complement with Trace Jackson Davis, I do think potentially Indiana could be a Final Four team. If they're not knocking a lot of threes in, then I think that they will lose earlier, but they are a possible Final Four team.
Oh, yeah. Well, Purdue's
49-38 Purdue.
Oh, man. Now they're really ahead. Penn State's like, we're tired. We want to go to bed.
Yeah, Penn State can't shoot threes. They were making them yesterday. They just cannot knock shots down. They're getting some decent looks, too. If this continues, then it's going to look like an easy win for Purdue. Jeff said IU is really good, just not consistent. That is true. They do struggle with consistency. And David Jenkins just bricked a 3 for Purdue. That is always funny when you brick a 3.
Well, now Memphis is up by 6.
Man, it's looking like possibly Houston could come back. getting interesting.
Well, on some takes, you win some, you lose some. I thought Penn State would be coming back, but Memphis coming back, and here we are.
Memphis is up by 8 again.
Yeah, my mistake. Houston's coming back. It's kind of like.
Yeah, Memphis is up 53-48 right now with 12 to go in the game.
I think my mind's still just kind of just stuck on that song that I heard from Applebee's. It's like, oh man, I think it's really clouding my brain a little bit.
The Spice Girls are getting to you.
Yeah.
Mm.
I gotta be careful what I listen to next time.
It's like the earworm on SpongeBob.
Oh yeah. Well, now it's an 8-point lead for Memphis.
Houston for 3. 53-48.
Ooh,
Houston's cut it to 5. They're on a 17-4 run.
Yeah.
And Memphis misses a 3, but they get the rebound.
This is what March is made of, ladies and gentlemen.
Memphis misses another 3, and they get another rebound. Memphis misses another shot. They get another rebound, and they score. They finally scored. It's 55-48 Memphis. Jeff says, where is Taco when we need him to get the ball? That's funny.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Ooh, Selection Sunday is going to be fun in the next hour.
Oh, it's going to be tons of fun. I can't wait to see the bracket.
I'm
wondering if Indiana's going to get a 4 or 5 seed. Hopefully a 4.
Yeah, if you're a 5 seed, you're in trouble.
Yeah, especially if they have to play like VCU or something. That would be awful.
Or Oral Roberts or something.
Ugh. You don't want to play against Max Amos, man. That guy can shoot.
Yeah. Oh man, it's like
when they beat Ohio State that one year. I know Buckeye Mike was not happy.
No,
that was bad. I mean, it was awesome for Oral Roberts, though. I mean, Cinderellas are always great.
Oh man. Let's see. Some show about True. Yeah, I don't care about the True Lies show right now. Nobody's watching that. They want to hear about Purdue.
Yeah, Purdue is up 11, 49-38 Purdue, 11:28 left in the second half. Purdue is really starting to pull away here. If they hit a couple more shots, it could be dunzo.
Man, Penn State is 3 out of 15. Oh man, they got a 20% rate today.
They were not doing that against Indiana. They were hitting everything. They do get a rebound, though, and a foul on Purdue.
Ooh. What do you think of the coaching job done by Chris Collins at Northwestern this year? I mean, that was so fantastic. But what did you think?
Oh, it was a fantastic coaching job by Chris Collins. I mean, they lost Pete Nance to North Carolina. They lost Ryan Young to Duke in the portal. And they lost Miller Kopp the year before that to Indiana. And he was able to, with Boo Buie, Chase Aldege, and just, a bunch of players that most people have probably never heard of until this year. And they, did what they did. I mean, they were making shots and they, hit their free throws. They played fundamental basketball and they were able to get a lot of big wins. It was a fantastic coaching job.
Boo Buie. I keep thinking he sounds like Bubba Booey's big brother from Quick Draw McGraw.
I could definitely see that comparison there in the name.
Yeah, that's so funny. I like that Quick Draw. But anyway, let's see. Purdue.
Purdue missed again.
Good Lord. Everybody's missing shots today.
This game is no offense. It's like Jeff said, Indiana could have beat both these teams the way they're playing.
Yeah.
Just bad offense. They can't hit shots. They do look tired partly, but still, I mean, you don't want to make excuses either. So it's just poor offense. Yeah, it looked like for a minute Penn State was going to make the game interesting, but it's not looking good at all. Purdue is now up by 13-1. Trey Kaufman-Wren got the bucket. 51-38, 10-10 to go. Chess says right now they both stink. Well, Purdue's playing a little better, but yeah, they're both struggling. But man, this game has not been pretty. The Houston game's been a little bit better on offense, but
Ooh, yummy sausage, eggs. Ooh, that's yummy. Hey, wait a minute. That's a commercial for Memphis Houston. Come on. Hurry up, Memphis.
yeah, it's still at the TV timeout on that one. The Purdue game is live right now still. 52-38 Purdue. 10 to go in the second half. Last call for Penn State. They got to start making shots or they're not going to win. They're down 14.
I wish they'd have less TV timeouts, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. I mean, that is something people always talk about. They make the games very long, but to be fair, the players need rest, and the advertisements are what definitely pays the bills for a lot of people. But I know what you mean, though. It is frustrating.
I actually kind of want to see the coaches do some game planning with their teams, because I want to see more of that. And don't get me wrong, I like watching yummy foods every now and again, but I just don't want to go on a buying spree. I don't want to go.
Yeah, dude, to your point about the coaches, though, I will say they do kind of do that with the on Fox. They'll do the inside the huddle with the coaches and the Big East and the Big Ten. They do that sometimes, but they don't do it very often, though. To your point, you would like to see, the game plan. But then if they gave away too much, then people would probably be, fans of the other team like, here's their playbook.
That's true. But
Penn State just hit a 3.
Oh, now it's 4 out of 16.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord. So, yeah, still 25%.
But Purdue's at the line again.
Wow.
It's 53-41 Purdue with 9:29 left. Houston's cut it to 5 on Memphis, but Memphis just hit a 3. So it's 58-50 Memphis.
Ooh. I'm wondering what that first 4 is going to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Because, which of the first 4 is going to make a surprising run this year?
That one year, UCLA went to the Final Four from the first 4, and that was crazy.
Yeah, that was 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So, in 2011, the first year of the first 4 was VCU.
Yeah, with Shaka Smart, that was crazy.
Shakalaka. Fantastic winner, man. I know LaSalle was a surprising team in 2013.
Mm-hmm.
Going to that Sweet 16. Quanzo Martin made a surprising run to Sweet 16. Let's see.
Florida Gulf
Syracuse made
Coast
that.
that 1 year.
Huh?
Florida Gulf Coast that 1 year.
They weren't in the first 4 in 2013.
Well, not the first 4. I was talking about Cinderella stories, but yeah, you're talking about the first 4. Go ahead.
Right. And Syracuse made that run 2018 to the Sweet 16, play against old Coach K.
Mm-hmm.
Notre Dame upset Bama last year and play against Texas Tech, but in the round of 32. But no big surprising run since UCLA in 2021.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right for sure. I mean, the first 4, they've had a couple, but it hasn't been too many teams because you got to play that extra game, which is tough. Which a lot of people think sometimes that could spur you to go farther playing that game, but still, it's really tough. But yeah. When I said Florida Gulf, I was talking about Cinderella story. But yeah, when talking about the first 4, LaSalle, Syracuse, VCU, Notre Dame, it's been some good ones for sure.
Oh yeah. I wonder if we're going to see a team go from first 4 to national championship. That's never happened before.
Anything's possible. I mean, I wouldn't not doubt that it couldn't happen, but it would definitely take a lot for that to happen for sure. But if UCLA can get to the Final Four, then it's not impossible.
Well, let's see. As far as I recollect, um, the lowest seed to win it all was 1985 Villanova.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that 2014 Connecticut won it all that year. We've
Mm-hmm.
never seen a 9 or 10 seed or an 11, 12 seed win it all. Is
Yeah.
this the year that it happens? That's what I wonder.
Well, I mean, it's definitely possible. There's a lot of parity. I mean, I wouldn't say it's likely because the odds are so low, but to your point, I mean, for it to happen, you never know. It's just a lot of parity going on in college basketball. Edwards back. He says Houston has a long player that played great even in the shot. Well, that's why this year they couldn't shoot well. Yeah, Syracuse is not shooting the ball very well. I mean, overall, they're a team that in the past they had great shooters. The zone was so hard for teams to stop that weren't used to it, but it is what it is. Jeff said that was not a charge. Yeah, I agree with that. It was a block. Penn State. Uh, that was an unfortunate call for them, but it's looking really bad for Penn State. They're down 14 with 7:55 to go, and Memphis is up 10 on Houston with 8:49 to go. But yeah, it's looking bad for both Houston and Penn State right now. Both teams need a run if they're going to get back. I still think Houston has a better shot to come back at this point than Penn State, the way Penn State's shooting the ball, but Houston's definitely falling behind. Memphis is playing really well in this game. And again, the injury to Marcus Sasser does play a factor, but still, Memphis is a really talented team. Memphis did miss, so Houston has another shot to cut it under 10. $60-50 with 8 minutes to go for Memphis. Houston's shooting a three, and they knock it down. Houston's cut it to 7. Jarris Walker, the star freshman, hit a three. Turnover for Memphis again. Houston has a shot. Edwards says Memphis is a good team that no one pays any attention to. I agree. They've been playing really well. Bad shot by Jarris Walker. He was looking for a foul. But Memphis is definitely making this one interesting by allowing Houston back in the game. Because they had a big lead. Like they were going to run away with it. But Memphis is up 7, 60-53 with under 8 to go. But Purdue, Penn State, Purdue, they're up 55-41 over Penn State right now. And it's definitely looking like unless Penn State can start making shots real quick, that Purdue will win the Big Ten. Neither team's played that great of a game, but, I mean, again, you can partly say fatigue is partly to blame, but still, both teams are just really struggling on offense. Zach Edey's been the most offense that anybody's had in this game. He has 24 points, 11 rebounds, 26 double-doubles this season. Not surprising at all. They said in the Big Ten tournament with Zach Edey on the floor, Purdue's a plus 29. When he's not on the floor, Purdue's a plus 4. Again, that's not surprising. He's such a big part of their team. Howard said, bro, Edey can't move at all. Penn State, under 8 to go, and they need a bucket. Andrew Funk coming off a ball screen, and he takes it in and lays it in. Penn State's cut it to 12, 55-43, under 8 to go. This could be their last chance to make a run. But Purdue has been playing fundamental basketball, even though this hasn't been their best offensive day, but they play good defense. Penn State's missing shots, too. Zach Edey kicks it out. Braid Smith for 3. Purdue misses, but they cannot get the rebound. Penn State, Purdue with another offensive rebound. Mason Gillis that time. Mason Gillis in the corner for three, and he knocks it down. That might be the dagger. I might be a little premature to say, but Purdue's up 15 on Penn State with 6:50 to go. And Penn State's not knocking shots down. Purdue's on a roll. Penn State shooting a three. Andrew Funk, he misses. Purdue with the rebound. They're just short on all their threes. They just look fatigued. Purdue's moving the ball well. They got Zach Edey on the block again. He knocks it down 60-43 Purdue. 6 to go in the game. Penn State's about out of time. Purdue fans are loud right now. They're on their feet. They're up 17 with 6 to go, and they can smell the Big Ten title. The biggest question right now is whether Houston can come back and beat Memphis. This is looking like Purdue has a really good shot to beat Penn State right now. They can just continue to take care of the ball and make timely shots and get the ball to Edey. It's looking like Purdue is going to win the Big Ten. But Houston, they're down 7 against Memphis, and they still have a shot to come back and win. But they're running out of time. Houston's a really good team, but you can definitely tell they are limited without Marcus Sasser. They're not as good on the offensive end because they don't share the ball as well without him, and they're doing a lot more isolation ball trying to score, and there's just not enough ball movement. So for Kelvin Sampson's team, they're definitely going to have to get Marcus Sasser back for the tournament. Memphis is really good, but still, Houston would probably be winning this game if they were healthy. Or at least be in better shape to win anyway. But Houston turns Memphis over. 7:30 left in the game. Houston's down 7 with the ball.
Ooh.
Houston's still down 7 with 7 minutes left.
Ooh,
now Memphis up 9.
Raggy, the Tiger Kings are in rubble. Ooh. Let's see.
Penn State's down 17.
Oh, Penn State's in real big trouble.
They're not having a good offensive day.
No. Well, it's like you said, they're tired from playing 4 games in 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really hurting them. As for Purdue, they basically played 3 games in 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
So
it definitely plays a factor.
It most certainly does. But it's fun to wonder if where Penn State's going to be seated. Please don't.
They probably need to lose close because if they lose by too much, they will drop further than they would like to. But I still think they'll probably be a high 10 seed the way they're playing right now and the way they're going to probably lose.
Exactly. Please don't tell me Penn State's going to be an NIT team after all the hard work they've done.
Yeah, they'll make the tournament. They should. The bubble's very weak, and Penn State has a lot of quality wins. Penn State just hit a 3, so they've cut it to 14, 60-46, 6 to go, but still, they got a lot of ground to make up.
Oh, man. Bro, Edey can't move at all.
Yeah, Edward is definitely not impressed with Zach Edey's skill set for sure. He's a really good player, but he is not the quickest. Penn State could get some stops, and it's possible that they could make a run because they are able to usually come back with threes, but just the way, like we've said, with their fatigue, they just are not showing the ability to do that. So it might not be enough anyway, but they just cannot get stops because if Purdue misses, they can't get the rebound. And if they guard Edey too hard, then they foul him, or he scores if they don't. So it's like whatever happens, Purdue is going to more likely score. Edwards says if Penn State was smart, they should have been doing a high ball screen with Edie's man and just run by him for dunks and layups. I agree with that, but they did not. It's kind of like how Indiana ran pick and roll with Trace Jackson Davis and Jalen Hood-Schifino to get Edie in space, which is not good for him because he's better when he doesn't have to move that much. So you're absolutely correct. Penn State has not done that in this game.
Wow.
Penn State missing yet another three. They're down 60-46, 5 minutes left. And Purdue calls a timeout.
Well, I guess there's another Spike Lee, Charles Barkley, Samuel L. Jackson commercial. Those commercials are classic.
Yeah, you know it's March Madness when you see those commercials are back for sure.
Oh, yeah. A Spike Lee joint. Oh, yeah.
Memphis is now up 10 again with 5:50 left, 65-55.
Let's see, Deron Payne. Yeah, we're not looking at Deron Payne right now. We're not bringing the pain with Deron Payne. We're bringing the pain with Penn State Purdue.
Memphis turned Houston over again. Memphis for 2 and 1.
Ooh.
67-55, 5:20 to go. It's looking really good for Memphis.
Oh, man. Memphis,
what a steal. Yeah, Houston is not composed on offense right now. They're turning the ball over. They're just sloppy.
Yeah.
It definitely shows without having Sasser. I mean, they are just very sloppy.
This is not looking good for them.
Memphis is up 68-55 with 5:20 to go. They're up 13 on Houston. Houston's going to have to start knocking some threes down.
Oh, yeah.
And they call an offensive foul on Houston.
Oh.
It's going from bad to worse for the Houston Cougars. They're falling apart. If Memphis just keeps playing smart basketball, they could pull this one out. Now, Penn State's cut it to 11. It's 60-49 Purdue with 5 to go in the game. Penn State, again, maybe has one last gasp in them, not sure. But they have not been able to get this under 10 in a while.
I wonder how it feels to be Memphis, getting the last laugh on Houston before they head over to the Big 12.
That would be really cool for them.
Yeah, because
they're not going to be playing anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Penn State just airballed a 3.
Oh, man. Williams is high-fiving. Everybody's all happy and excited. Oh, man, they are celebrating over in Memphis. And let's see, we got an AAC commercial.
Yeah, I love how they talk about how, in football they have, all those New Year's Six bowl wins and they went to the college football playoff. They really tried to sell the Power Six, which unfortunately for the American Conference, losing some of the teams you're losing definitely hurts with that. But still, the American Conference has had a lot of success.
Oh, yeah. Well, in Tulane, they're selling that Tulane win over USC in the Cotton Bowl at the Jerry Dome.
Mm-hmm.
That was a fantastic game right there.
Oh, it was for sure.
That was a beautiful comeback by Tulane.
Penn State's at the line, so they have a chance if they hit both these free throws to cut it to 9. Andrew Funk's at the line. He shoots 85%, and he hits the first. So it's 60-50 Purdue with 4:27 left.
Right.
Memphis is up 70-55 on Houston with 4:35 left. And he hits the second. Andrew Funk's cut it to 9, 60-51 Purdue, 4:25 left. It's been an 8-0 run for Penn State.
Ooh, that's impressive. There we go. The Fighting Simbas. Oh, free throw for Houston, it looks like. I see that's a shoulder patch that number 1 has on.
Mm-hmm.
I hope his shoulder's okay.
Well, it's like one of the commentators in one of the games I was listening to yesterday watching, he said every single, team right now is not 100%. They're not healthy. They got bumps and bruises. Every player is not 100%. You've gone through the full season, the bumps and the grinds, the bruises that you've taken to your body, trying to play at a high level. None of these teams are 100%. You just got to go out and give everything you've got for sure.
Yeah, especially Houston. They're not looking 100% at the very moment.
Mm.
It's going to hurt them in March. I want to see if they can win it all, but they don't look like a national title team, unfortunately.
Especially without Marcus Sasser. I still think if he's able to come back, I still think that potentially Houston could go far, and his injury should be really short. But you definitely see that how one injury can completely affect the team. I mean, you look at UCLA; they lost to Arizona by 2 points in that game last night, and UCLA has 2 players out of Dembona and Jalen Clark. So you need all your players. You need a fully healthy team, and to me, that's the biggest reason why UCLA struggled against Arizona and lost. That's why Houston's struggling right now and probably going to lose to Memphis. Overall, it's just health. It definitely plays a factor.
Oh, yeah. But how cool would it be if Houston did win it all? They win it all, and then they could show the Big 12, hey, your faith in us is rewarded, and I reward you with a national championship.
It'd be kind of funny that you're getting more out of the basketball team than you are of the football team, because Houston football is, a big deal. But they've kind of been struggling and up and down lately, which is why you've mentioned several times you feel Dana Holgorsen could be on the hot seat. But overall, Houston basketball right now has definitely been, a big boost, to that team. And with them going to the Big 12, it definitely is a big draw.
Yeah, well, Razor Wives sounded like a broken record on Dana Holgorsen being on the hot seat supposedly at Houston. Was number one, 2022 was a disappointing year.
Mm-hmm.
And secondly, the school president of Houston said, if you go 8-4, you're fired. Mm-hmm. Guess what? The school president that said that is still there. I'm wondering if the school president feels that the same way now that Houston's in the Big 12. That's the question to figure out in the offseason.
Well, I mean, the biggest issue with teams that are, from smaller conferences going to bigger conferences is like we talked about with Gonzaga going to the Big 12, and even with Houston now going to the Big 12. You're going to have to play Kansas, Baylor, and all these teams that are really good in the conference. You're not going to be able to dominate like you did in the American Conference or the West Coast Conference if Gonzaga left. So overall, it's one of those things where sometimes you got to lower your expectations back and have to readjust them. So when you make the new league, then maybe you can find a way to build up to the point where you can compete on a regular basis with those teams, because the transition's hard. You look at Wichita going from Missouri Valley to the American. Obviously, Greg Marshall got fired too, but still, they definitely tanked, and they just fired Isaac Brown.
Oh, yeah. They've been a disaster since the Greg Marshall firing happened. So.
Mm-hmm.
But I do wonder if Wichita State will play Kansas again, or Kansas State. Kansas get a little revenge on them.
They probably want to get better again before they do. Right now, they probably get beat.
Yeah, because I mean, that's still got to stick in your craw if you're Kansas. I mean, Wichita State beating you up in the round of 32 that one year. Good Lord.
Mm-hmm. That was a crazy game. Zach Edey just knocked 2 free throws down at 62-51 Purdue. Under 4 minutes to go. Penn State's down 11. They need to make a run, but I don't know if they have it in them or not.
Probably not because they're exhausted.
I mean, they're trying out there, but they're just taking threes and they're not hitting them. Seth Lundy just got blocked, but they called a foul. So Penn State has free throws.
Oh, and Houston's still down.
Yeah, Houston's down by 14 with 3:51 left. It's definitely not looking good.
No.
They're more likely going to lose, which is kind of surprising. Especially the way they're losing. But again, without Sasser, I mean, you look at Houston, they just don't have a ball handler. They were really sloppy today, turning the ball over. They just do not like the same team. They don't have another guard that's, able to pass to the teammates to get them good looks. And you've got a lot more isolation ball. It kind of looks like almost NBA out there, like for Houston, and it's not working.
Right.
Penn State hit both free throws, so it's 62-53 Purdue, 3:38 to go.
Don't have a lot of time left, Nittany Lions.
They just called a tie up, and Penn State has the arrow, so they are getting the ball back.
Let's go, Nittany Lions.
Edward says, "Here comes Penn State." And Seth Lundy hits a three. 62-56. Purdue. 3:20 to go in the second. It's not over yet. Then get a couple stops. Penn State can make this interesting. Seth Lundy is 19 points. What a big shot.
Bring out that March Magic. Make it go bippity boppity boo for Penn State, man.
Good defense by Penn State. Braden Smith, he misses a three. Penn State with the rebound. And they call a foul on Purdue. This game is not over. Penn State's not giving up.
No, they're not. No, they are not. Neither is Houston, but it's 2 minutes left in the game.
Yeah, so far, Houston, they're down 10.
That Cinderella magic's been on Memphis' side today.
But Penn State missed the front end of the 1-and-1. That's a big miss. If they had hit that free throw, they could have cut it to 4. And Seth Lundy just fouled out of the game, says Edward.
Oh, man.
Jeff says Penn State's getting close, but that's tough. Missing the free throw and then fouling out of the game.
Oh, Purdue
that might have ended it.
They're in big trouble.
Man, Seth Lundy's so upset. Him fouling out.
Penn State. Yeah, Penn State screwed up.
Yeah, that's a tough way to go out, man. I mean, he just missed the front end of the 1-and-1, and then he just fouls out, and he's really upset on the sideline. That hurts. He was really starting to make shots in the second. He was a big reason they were coming back. But now Braden Smith has 2 free throws. And he knocks the first down. So it's now a 7-point lead for Purdue. He hit them both. So now it's 64-56 Purdue, 2:47 in the second. Purdue with an 8-point lead. While Memphis is up 12 on Houston with 1:56 left. Penn State, though, with an easy dunk. They've cut it to 6 again. 64-58, 2:30 to go. Penn State is making it interesting. You got to give them that.
Oh, yeah.
Purdue's starting to get a little rattled.
Well, you know Houston's out of it, losing by 12 with 1 minute left. But then again, Texas A&M was losing by double digits with a minute left. Be in 2016 against Northern Iowa. So I guess we'll see.
Penn State with the rebound. They got to stop. And Penn State got fouled. So Penn State has 2 free throws. So 64-58, 1:55 to go. And they have 2 free throws. Memphis is up 10 on Houston with 1:18. It's about out of time for Houston. Jalen Pickett, a 76.6% free throw shooter. He's at the line for 2 free throws. He hit the first. If he hits this free throw, they could cut it to 4.
Houston players look pretty sad.
I don't blame. That was a tough loss. So now it's a 4-point game. I mean, technically not a loss yet, but they're still down 10 with a minute left, so more likely a loss. But Purdue is up 64-60 over Penn State. 1:50 to go. Penn State is on a 17-4 run. If they can get another stop, they can really make this interesting.
So true. So true.
Purdue swinging the ball around. They get it to Zach Edey on the block. He drives in, and he scores 66-60. They tried to stop him, but Zach Edey's just too large. They couldn't stop him. Andrew Funk with a deep 3. He misses. Purdue with the rebound. Big rebound for Purdue, and now Penn State fouls. They had a shot. That's tough. Zach Edey, man, he just split the double team and laid it in. And Purdue misses the first.
See. Please tell me there's some gold futures full of silver coins for Penn State. No, there's not, is there?
They're taking Zach Edey out, giving him a breather. Purdue missed both free throws, though. Penn State with the ball, pushing down the floor. And they call a travel on Penn State.
Oh, man. That's really
2 missed opportunities. They missed a shot. Now they just traveled. They're running out of chances.
Yes, they are. And what is going on with Houston this time? Let's see. They're going over something.
66-60, Purdue over Penn State, 45 seconds left. If Purdue scores here, it's probably over. Penn State has to get a stop. Zach Edey, he did miss. Penn State with the ball. They're pushing it down the floor. Jalen Pickett with the ball. Jalen Pickett, timeout. They called timeout. He was about to shoot a 3, but Micah Shrewsbury called a timeout before he did. Probably a good decision. That possession really wasn't going anywhere. So Purdue's up 6 with 26 seconds left. Yeah, the Houston-Memphis game has been stopped with the minute left for a while. Yeah, if Penn State had hit their threes in this game, they had a really good chance to win. I mean, it's one of those things, again, where the fatigue playing a factor, I think, made them miss a lot of shots, but they had some good looks. And, I mean, they've hung with Purdue pretty well in this game, even though they can't stop Edey. But if they had hit some of their threes, they could have won. And they still have a chance. Purdue's been missing some free throws, which has kept Penn State in the game as well.
Oh, yeah.
But Penn State with the ball, down 6, 25 seconds left. They're struggling to get the ball in bounds over Edey. They do inbound the ball. Penn State taking a lot of time. They shoot a three, and they knock it down. Penn State's cut it to 3. 66-63, 15 seconds left. Penn State turned them over. Penn State for 2. It's 66-65.
Oh,
Purdue's
my
only
God.
up 1 with 10 seconds left.
You really are ahead of me in the future, man.
And they call a foul on Penn State. They call a foul, but it's 66-65 with 6 seconds left. That is insane.
Well,
Penn State
I guess the fairy godmother went bippity, boppity, boo on Penn State.
Penn State is almost going to complete a remarkable comeback if they can have Purdue miss some free throws.
Oh, man,
this
I
is
see
insane.
the 2-point play. Oh, man, 10.1 left in the game.
That is nuts.
Oh, they're double teaming. They're double teaming. Oh, man.
That is insane.
What
Purdue
a
had this
comeback.
game in the bag, and Penn State has just kept fighting to come back in this game. It's insane.
That's so big. Like, I don't have any words for it. I mean, that is awesome. Mm-hmm. That's just wow. And Memphis having that big day, 8-point lead with 53 seconds left in the game.
Yeah, Memphis is looking like they're going to hold on. They have given some ground to Houston. They've kind of cut it a little bit, but this Penn State-Purdue game is insane.
Oh, man.
And they ended up calling a timeout, I think, instead. There wasn't a foul, so Purdue has to inbound the ball with 6 seconds left.
I mean, what you are covering, my friend, is history. That is what you're covering is history.
Yeah, it's insane, man. If Penn State can get the win, get their first Big Ten title ever, championship, that would be insane.
Like, that's the thing right there. You are covering a fantastic finish.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm so glad I get to do it. Thanks for coming on here, man.
You get to be a part of it too, man. It's
Purdue hit the first free throw at 67-65. Memphis is up 9 with 50 seconds left in that one. Fletcherler at the line. He misses the second free throw. Penn State pushing it up the floor. And they call timeout. 3 seconds left. 3 seconds left, and it's 67-65 Purdue.
wow.
Man, if Penn State knocks a 3 in, that would be nuts.
Yeah. Extremely nuts. I mean, you have to give Penn State the bid. But you have to get them in the tournament because of that game right there. It's
yeah. If they don't win, then they should not drop at all. I mean, they should probably be around a 9 seed. They shouldn't drop because this is a heck of a performance. They have been playing at a high level, the rest of this season, even though they did struggle in this game. Again, as we point out, the fatigue. set in a little bit, but they're a really good team. I mean, they scrap, they fight, they claw. And, I mean, they were, down and out, probably going to miss a tournament a few weeks ago, but they've won like 7 of their last 9 games and playing, very good basketball. So that's crazy. I agree with you, Edward. Should have called timeout when the ball was across half court. They wasted 2 seconds. I agree with you there. They should have had about 4.5 seconds left. But it is what it is. Jeff said this is wild, but it's March. For sure. That's what makes it awesome.
Oh, he's playing
Memphis
a
is still up
fantastic
9.
finish.
There's 3 seconds left in this game, and Penn State has a shot to win. 67-65 Purdue. 3 seconds left. It's going down to the end, man. This is crazy. They call another timeout. Purdue called their last time. Penn State called their last, and now Purdue is. They're really, trying to figure out how to game plan for this one. It's all coming down to this.
Exactly. You got to get it right. You have to get it right if you're Penn State.
Memphis is up 11 over Houston with 24 seconds left. That game looks like it's a done deal.
Oh, it most certainly is. But hey, we get to see a dangerous Penny Hardaway team.
They should go far in the tournament if they play like this. Now, they've been a little inconsistent this season, but if they play like they did today, they could go far if they get matched up with a good team.
Oh, there's a little stat saying the last 5 games, all in March, nail-biting wins. They're showing that. Oh, man, there's a lady with blue fingernails praying. She's like, please, Penn State, please, Fairy Godmother, get Penn State this big victory.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they'll be celebrating all night if Penn State wins this one. This would be huge. 67-65 Purdue over Penn State. 3 seconds
here
left.
Here we go. This is what March is made of.
It's coming down to the wire. This is it. Penn State to inbound.
Oh, well, what happened there?
Penn State, they shoot it, and it's short. Was there a foul? I'm not sure.
It's looking like it. I don't know.
Oh, they called a travel. They called a travel because he went up and then he went back down and he didn't dribble. Edward said, I like Penny. He's a underrated head coach. They just traveled. The game's probably over.
Oh no,
my
heart is breaking for Penn State, man. I mean, I know that they're in the tourney, but that is hard. I mean, if I had to choose between a butt whipping and a tight loss, I'd rather just take the butt whipping.
Yeah, well, I mean, at least when you barely lose, though, it does, not look bad on your resume. But still, you are right. 67-65 Purdue final. Purdue is the Big Ten title champion, along with Memphis over Houston. 2 really good games, but Penn State, what a comeback. They tried. They were down big, 60-43, but they made it really interesting, and they fought all the way back. They had a shot to win, but unfortunately, they did not get the shot off. They traveled at the end, but Purdue holds on. Purdue will have a really good chance to get a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, and Penn State should be a 9 or a 10 seed at the very least. But what a game.
Man, they've earned it. I mean, my heart breaks for Penn State because that traveling play, it's like, but, this is something that you tell your children and your grandchildren about. I'm going to tell you right now.
Oh, for sure. Edward said Purdue's overrated. Poor guard play. Edie can't move on defense. I mean, again, I agree, partly with that. Not that they're completely overrated, but they do have, a tendency to not be as good as a lot of people think because their guard play is a bit weak, but still, I mean, they could be a team that could advance if they can get that figured out. But I agree with you, where they do have some cracks in their offense, but they were able to hold on today against a super tired Penn State team. But what a game. It's awesome watching it. Purdue getting the win 67-65 to win the Big Ten. Houston getting the 75-65 win over Houston. Really good win for Memphis. 2 great games, but Purdue being the Big Ten title, champions. A lot of people thought that, that would happen at the beginning of the season, but it ended up happening even when Purdue had a little bit of a skid in the middle of the season. Thanks, Jeff, saying great coverage, or great game, great coverage. Penn State could have won and should have won that one, but they just couldn't get it done. Thank you so much. But thank you, all you guys, for being here. What a game. It was an awesome game to watch. We're going to be back tonight. Me and Austin are going to be breaking down the bracket and going over the games later tonight at 10:30. So tune in for that, guys, if you want to go and watch that later tonight if you're still up. But thank you guys so much for being here. Thanks for coming on, Jackson. A lot of fun.
Thank you for having me on. And
for sure.
Thank you for having me a part of history today, man. Like, what a fantastic finish.
You're welcome. It was a great game. Thanks everybody for being here. Like, comment, subscribe. Only Talk Sports. If you like the stream down below. But thanks for being here, everybody. And I will see you next time. Thanks for being here, everybody.